thought I had that 230th bridge when they were supposed to have the. Yeah, I didn't write down the 230th. But the intent with the letting was that they were supposed to start those. They had 25 days to do the berms on the Raccoon River on the west side, and a late start date of August 23rd. But on the berms on 230th Street, I was thinking it was August. I'm hoping we're going to hear. Excuse me, September. On 230th Street, the contract late start is September 20th on the east side and September 27th on the west side. So if the contractor moves in according to that schedule, that's when 230th would close, would be when he started work on those berms. And then there'd be a while then where both Rolfe and 230th would be closed. In fact, Rolfe, I think when they originally closed that, I think they indicated that it would be closed for quite a while. I think it would be closed basically till they get all the dirt moved across Rolfe. They got quite a bit to go over there to that berm, so it might be 1st of November before Rolfe would get opened back up. And the 230th, once they closed it, it's going to be closed until they get the bridge done, which hopefully next year.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I mean, I think if they start this September, and they haven't even let the bridge, I think the bridge is in the October or November letting. I've had some bridge contractors say they're looking for stuff to do, this winter. So it sounds like at least there's contractors out there looking for work. So if they do get it, the berms built this fall, they will get pile driven and maybe get everything done ready to pour the deck by spring. So if they, and that's the other problem with, as I would suggest, holding off to do the berms till spring and then let the bridge. You don't close it this fall, but you run into the chance that it'll be closed next fall. So
we were also, doesn't that probably need to settle for winter?
they supposedly, when they originally were designing it, they had discussed it with me about whether there'd be an issue with it being closed for two harvests. And I said, we want to do whatever it takes to get it, to limit the amount of time it was closed, and it would not be hopefully closed for 2 seasons. So they have designed the piling for the bridge to counteract any down drag, because as that berm does settle a little bit, it will pull on the piling that's going through that part of the fill. And so they've taken that into consideration on the pile design.
What kind of a bridge will it be?
I think it's probably going to be a beam bridge.
Big.
It's
You can't do a cement sandwich, a cone.
No.
They put plywood up.
Yeah,
It's way
not,
too high up.
it's not, I'm sure it's not continuous. Well, again, that was not even let yet.
What about the ones on the big cedar? They're probably wet. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
they're steel.
and I think they're,
Did you see the berm on the east? That's huge.
Yeah, I went by there this morning. Looking from the north and then from the west side up there.
Is that up by
Right
Well,
south of
holes.
Darrell, right south of Darrell, you know, if you look out Darrell Matters,
Darwin.
Darwin.
Okay.
to the south.
Oh, yeah.
It's way up in the air.
Yeah, I think
I'd have
that's
to be
a,
30, 40 feet above the river.
I think that's the main bridge.
The water line, low water line.
I think that's a beam bridge in there. But usually on those longer structures, they, you know,
So what, they just put down the beam and then, how they built that?
they put the beam down and then they put forms between the beams and then pour probably a 8-inch deck, reinforcing the top and bottom.
Be two big structures right there, though. That's,
Yeah, I don't think this tells me how long they are.
it's
Do they-
long.
Before they
It's
built
quite
that, did they
large.
clean the ditch?
The drainage ditch, you know,
I think it'd be prudent to kind of clean it out a little bit so when cleanout comes along. I guess this.
Well, then your fear.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you know where, I suppose the design will say what the depth is supposed to be and they'll build to that, but
how do you clean out a drainage ditch with a bridge on top?
scratch from both sides.
and then basically, I mean,
They reach in.
they reach in from both
Of
sides.
course, they get a long arm excavator, they,
But on something that size, they might even put a small dozer down in the water and, you know, if they'd have to wait till water level was low enough. Couldn't do it right now.
let's do it in a bad year.
Except they're
Chop
bad
the
shape.
That thing's been carried a lot of water.
Still is.
Yeah, I was on, we went kayaking on the Cedar the other day, and most of the places it's only, 2.5 foot deep. It's not deep anymore. It looks a lot deeper than it.
Is it?
I mean, we look,
Well, that thing topped the bank there between, around Darwin's there, and then again on the steering places.
Yeah.
That's deeper than I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
It flooded those, almost across the gravel road there at Darwin's.
I mean, it was definitely full earlier this year.
When are they gonna open Highway 20? We were talking about that earlier.
I
You have any idea?
don't have any idea. I mean, the last I heard was November. And then
Oh,
this Mike Moeller, he'd been in charge of the flood construction he was doing the last 6-7 miles from 4 N65. And that contractor was telling me last week that he was going to get pulled off of that job and sent someplace else. So if that happens, I was just talking to Mike on the way over here, and Mike thought if he stayed around, we'd probably have all the concrete poured, all the turning lanes and the medians and all the radiuses and tie-in points by the end of next week if it doesn't rain. So it's that close to getting all the concrete poured, so why they would pull him out, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But then CJ Moyna is doing the subcontract dirt work for them, and then have to have them come in and build the shoulders up, reshape the median. I think they've got quite a bit of the rock down for the shoulders, but then there's asphalt shoulders go on top of that, and I think they're like 4 foot wide on the inside and 6 foot or 8 foot wide on the outside. And so they're going to do the asphalt, he said, until after they get all the dirt work done, because of course they don't want the dirt equipment, tearing up the asphalt. So it's basically going to depend on the coordination of all the contractors that got to come in and do work yet, because I think there's typically Flint has used a subcontractor to do the rock shoulders, and I don't know if they've got them all done or what their schedule is, but.
They won't make winter roll.
Well, he still thinks they might, but, I mean, it all depends how much more rain we get and how things come together, so. Yeah, last week I guess was my first thinking that, they won't make winter, but I imagine if they get it close, because of course they got all the topsoil to put back in place, and got all the signs to put up, and, I mean, there's a lot of work yet to do. But, I'm sure there'll be a real push to get it open this fall, but, probably gonna depend a little bit, we're getting bad weather in November when it stays nice to the 1st of December.